Hello and welcome to Capping Corner. Today we're going to talk about the Honeybee Stakes and the Rebel Stakes. They are both on Sunday at Oaklawn Park. Yes, on Sunday, they delayed the races by one day because of bad weather, and the latter race is part of the Derby Trail, of course. First, let's go over the Honeybee Stakes. In the Honeybee Stakes, we start off with the morning line favorite, Mahima. She is 7-5 on the morning line, and she just won the Demoiselle Stakes in December at Aqueduct by one length, but I thought it was more impressive than the margin makes it seem. Let's take a look at the race. We catch them entering the stretch. Mahima is on the lead, but only one filly is coming at her. That's Ballerina Doro, and Ballerina Doro is going to keep it close. She's about a length behind at this point, but Mahima is keeping her a length behind, and they're both accelerating away from the rest of the fillies. And I like the way that Mahima keeps that separation. Even though it's a one-length separation, it's not a huge gap to second, but there's a huge gap to third, and I think that's a good sign. Liam in the Dust was third, and she was stakes placed in the past, so I thought that Liam in the Dust was a good filly, and the fact that they were so far ahead of her was a good sign. Both of them are good fillies, so I have no problem with Mahima only winning that race by a length. Now, she's 7-5 on the morning line, and the only reason to go against her is if there's another filly in the race who might be as good as her, but at a different price, at a higher price. And maybe there is one. On the outside is 5G. 5G comes from Gulfstream, and she won the Cash Run Stakes by 9 lengths. And I thought that was impressive, and she got a high figure for it on Breeze at least. She got a 96, and that 96 is higher than anything Mahima has run. And let's take a look at the race. As usual, we catch them rounding the turn. 5G is on the lead. Unchained Elaine is in second. And who's in third? I think Paradise City is coming into third. And Unchained Elaine isn't a bad filly. Unchained Elaine, in her next start, she ran fourth in the Forward Gal Stakes. She was running against stakes horses, and she didn't lose by a lot. But 5G puts her away easily. I've been fooled by these colts and fillies before that win their maiden races this way, but this was a stakes race. This was a cash run stakes, so it's different. And she won the cash run by 9 lengths with that 96, so I thought it was impressive. I think 5G could possibly upset Mahima. She has speed, so I don't think the outside post is that big of a deal as long as she uses her speed to get out of there. And we have Irad Ortiz on her, so I'm sure that he will use her speed and get in a good position. She doesn't need the lead, but she can stalk by 1 or 2 lengths off the leader, or she can sit off the leader as well. And I think she's going to be a good price. Maybe 4-1. I think that'll be accurate. Maybe 7-2. We'll see. She's my choice. I want to go over some of the other fillies quickly. Take Charge Milady deserves some credit for improving in her last 2 starts. She broke her maiden by 4 lengths, and then she won the Martha Washington by 5 3/4 of a length of her quiet side. I think she's improving, I just don't know if she's fast enough to win this race. Let's give some credit to Anonyma as well, who broke her maiden over Take Charge Milady, and that was a maiden claimer actually, but then Anonyma went on to win an optional claimer on January 19 at Fairgrounds by 2 lengths over California Sunset, so I think this filly is improving as well. Although if you do watch that maiden race on December 20, it looks like Take Charge Milady was full of run at the end, and she just came too late. I still want to give Anonyma some credit, and maybe she could get 3rd or 4th at a big price. Finally, let's talk about Look Forward, who comes from California, and she won the Santa Ynez Stakes, and she was 2nd in the Starlet Stakes. I still don't know if she wants this distance. I don't know if she wants a mile and 1/16. She has speed, but Mahima is in the race, and if she uses her speed to sit close or be on the lead, Mahima will be right there, so I don't know if that'll work out for Look Forward, who I have questions about in terms of distance. 5G is my top pick in the Honeybee. If she was the same odds as Mahima, maybe I would pick Mahima, but at 7-2 or 4-1 or even higher, then 5G is my pick. I think that 96 on Breeze stands out, and I think she has the stakes experience, and she has the distance experience. She's gone a mile and 1/16 before. Maybe Mahima 2nd, and Take Charge Milady 3rd, and maybe Anonyma 4th. We'll see. We move on to the Rebel Stakes. Let me explain something. Whenever there's a big field, and it's unclear who has the best chance to win, and in fact, a lot of the horses have the same chance to win, some people will call that a good betting race, but I don't know. I don't like races that are a headache, and when you're betting a big field and you're just trying to guess, yes, you can win a lot of money if you get it right, but it feels like I'm guessing whenever I take on races like this. But I'll give my thoughts anyway. Let's talk about Speed King. Now, Speed King won the Southwest Stakes. We've watched this race before on my channel. Let's watch it again. And we catched him entering the stretch. Speed King put away American Promise. I know American Promise didn't run well in the Risen Star last week, but I didn't think he ran that bad. I think the winner just ran out of his mind. The winner was so impressive magnitude. And Speed King holds on to win over Sandman, and there's Patch Adams, and there's Tistastic. And it was a good effort. I like the way he put away American Promise, and then he held off the other closers. But I don't know if this is a good race to bet him. I think last time was a time to get Speed King. In this race, you have Innovator, and you have that other speed horse whose name I can't remember off the top of my head, trained by Dallas Stewart, Smokin' Wicked. And I think that putting away Innovator and Smokin' Wicked, who is probably a sprinter, will be harder. So let's talk about some other choices. Publisher is 20-1 on the morning line. He probably won't be 20-1 because Flavien Prat is riding him. I still like him though. Ask yourself this: why would Steve Asmussen keep running this maiden and Derby Trail races unless he thought there was talent inside the horse? And I know he ran 7th in the Southwest Stakes. Let's take a look at the stretch run. Publisher is on the rail right now. He's about 5th. And American Promise is going to block him completely. American Promise took his path. And you see the jockey stand up on Publisher. And from there, the jockey didn't really persevere with Publisher. He had no room anyway with that other horse coming to his right, and Publisher is just going to go along evenly towards the wire. I think he could have hit the board at least 3rd or 4th without that trouble. I'm going to give Publisher a chance. He's my top choice in this race, and we'll see if he can get a better trip under his new jockey. How about Sandman, the $1.2 million colt? He has improved in his last 2 starts. He won an optional claimer on this course, and then he was 2nd in the Southwest as we just saw. Let's take a look at the start, because he had a bad start in that race. Sandman is the great colt in the middle, and you see at the start he hops in the air to the left, and then he has to start from the back of the pack. And I know he doesn't have a lot of speed in the first place, but I think he could have been closer than where he was if it wasn't for that hop at the start, and he's just going to lag around the back around the first turn. And maybe he could have won if he didn't have that kind of start. In any case, let's talk about a couple more horses. I want to talk about Tistastic for a second, because he fell back in the Southwest 9.5 legs behind at one point, and then he was closing well in the stretch as we just saw, and he finished 3rd in the Southwest. Let's take a look at the stretch run again. We catch him in mid-stretch. Tistastic is the one with the big blaze on the outside, and he's closing steadily. He doesn't have a big burst right here, but he's closing steadily. I just wonder if this horse wants a longer distance. I don't know if a mile with 1/16 is his best distance. Given how steadily he closes in the stretch run, and how he just stays in the picture and he just grinds along, I think he wants 9 or 10 furlongs. Finally, let's talk about the 2 California horses, starting with Bullard. Bullard was 3rd in the San Vicente Stakes, but I had a higher opinion of him before that race. He won the Bob Hope Stakes by 4 3/4 of a length, and maybe he had a pace setup in that race. The half mile was in 43 and change. I still think this could be a very good colt, and he has a great pedigree, and I think he'll get a good trip with his stalking style. I don't know if he wants the distance. He has to prove it to me. I think he's a good underneath horse in this race. He might be overbet because he's from California. We'll see. Manicat Road is the other Californian, and he was 3rd in the Robert B. Lewis Stakes. I wasn't happy with how he closed in that race. Maybe I could forgive it. Citizen Bull is one of my top-rated horses, and Rodriguez gets a lot of high praise from other handicappers. I just don't know if this horse wants a mile 1/16. His pedigree is sprinty on top and bottom. Well, maybe not on top. Quality Road is fine, but on the bottom, there's plenty of sprint in this pedigree, and I'll just say he's an underneath horse for now. Again, there are many ways to go in this race, the Rebel Stakes, and you really want to think about whether you feel confident in what you're betting on in this race, or whether you're just guessing, trying to get a big number to win. And I would rather feel confident if I put any money, whether it's $2, whether it's $20, whatever. But I know that the saying goes, if it's a big field and many horses can win, it's usually a great betting race. In any case, those are my thoughts on the Rebel Stakes. Publisher is my top choice. Sandman is my second choice, but they're interchangeable. And we'll say that the California horses are my 3rd and 4th choices. Bullard and Manicat Road, and maybe Tistastic is somewhere in there as well. And I think that Speed King will be pace compromise. Anyways, those are my thoughts on the Rebel Stakes. Thanks for listening to my Honeybee Stakes and Rebel Stakes analysis. I'll be back soon with another race on the Derby Trail.